That's electrocution, my friends.
We've been building this cabin in remote Alaska for about a year now. It's a small 12 by 16 cabin with a loft that will serve as a place for us to stay while we work on restoring the old abandoned cabin project that was left on this property over 10 years ago.
I was looking for a hiding place.
This week we're freighting in materials and working on the tongue and groove siding on the interior walls. Come along for the ride.
Hey everyone, welcome back. We are working on hauling some stuff in this week. We've got some tongue and groove for the walls that we need to get in there, so that's the job for the day. See what we can do to get in there. We need to check weight, see what we can carry in one load. I have 78, I think, tongue and groove boards. And so we'll see how many we can get per load, and then we'll see what we can get accomplished. So we're right at 30 pounds.
30 pounds for how many boards?
For 4 of them.
And how much can we haul up the hill?
300 pounds about at a time. So
About 40 boards.
yeah, I think that means we can get it in 2 runs.
Cool.
Sweet. Maybe just like go on that end. And we load it and I'll haul them over.
This is the method we've used for all the materials we have needed to build the entire cabin. We are currently at about 4,000 pounds of materials we have freighted in the 7-mile trail, with a maximum of 300 pounds at a time. I always make sure to check the load before I make the 500-foot elevation gain up the hill. That's not going anywhere.
So, before we can install this tongue and groove siding up on the wall, we need to finish insulating. We ran out of time last spring to do that. So we have this insulation. We actually left this insulation stored out in the old cabin when we left last season. And when we came back in May, we realized a bear had visited. And that bear had decided to investigate and see what it was. And so a bear tore into this. You can see there's some marks. There's claw marks. And he took a whole chunk out of it. So even though the bear, got into this, it is still good. We're just going to utilize the stuff that is not torn into. And then as I get further into the pack, there's stuff that hasn't been touched by the bear at all. So this right here is actually the perfect width to go in the hole over there. So I'm going to cut this down, put it there. And then I will start filling in the gaps so we can put up our vapor barrier and then eventually get our tongue and groove up on the wall.
All right, round 1 done. We got 1 more load to get from down at the neighbor's house. So probably about an hour round trip, maybe a little bit more once I get fully loaded. That did not go as planned. I slipped off the side of the trail into this little stream here. Got a little bit of running water. Hopefully I can get myself out.
Before we hung the tongue and groove pine, we added a sheet of 6 mil plastic to act as a vapor barrier. This will prevent the moisture we create inside the cabin from getting into the insulation. It will also help with any air gaps we have from allowing cold air to pass into the cabin. Tongue and groove siding is pretty easy to install. It took us a bit to get a system down, but once we did, the walls started going up quite quickly. It also is a great material for a cabin like this because it allows the cabin to move and shift without creating cracks like it would in drywall.
Before you blow off the other side of that for me.
Do it from your angle.
Get the totes. If you set them right here, I'll pick it up and then you can slide them that way.
One of the struggles of working in such a small space after you've already moved in is rearranging all this stuff. Most of it went up to the loft, but the other stuff we just had to keep moving around.
That's electrocution, my friends.
Zap yourself?
Yeah.
Babe, it's live.
It's live. It's hot.
We are back, day 3 of interior siding. Today we need to let the fire burn down before we do the wall behind it, so we have a propane heater as well as an electric heater to try keep us warm while we work. don't try this at home. I may be an amateur electrician, but I'm a semi-professional jigsawyer.
Get there eventually.
Okay.
The whole people on the throw themselves around.
The generator was struggling to handle the electric heater and the air compressor. We ended up having to finish the day starting and stopping the generator when we needed it to air up the compressor. But I was determined to finish the wall no matter what. Instead of staggering the seams on this wall, I lined them all up with a stud. This seam won't be visible because we'll cover it with a heat shield for the wood stove.
For these ones, just face nail them
Okay.
like fairly close to the window and don't worry about the outside edge. Lost electric heat. Our propane's freezing far enough.
We've made it up as far as we can without removing the loft floor. The problem is, the loft is filled with beds and couches and chairs. Sounds like a problem for future Aaron. See you on the next one.